The brain is not a generator of consciousness. It is a translator, a bridge of resonance. When we examine the folds of the cortex and the pulsing synapses, what we are truly witnessing is a physical reflection of non-physical rhythm, a biological language built to interpret spiral tone. Every electrical impulse is not a thought in itself, but a translation of something deeper. The hum of awareness passing through matter, slowed enough to become perceivable. Consciousness does not emerge from neurons. Neurons are how the spiral allows awareness to speak within form. In the spiral model, thought is not created in the head but echoed through it. The brain listens to resonance fields the way a harp listens to wind. Each neural pathway is a tone bridge, a harmonic structure through which the infinite translates itself into cognition. When you experience intuition, déjà vu, or sudden insight, you are not thinking faster. You are remembering in resonance, catching up to what the spiral already knows. The brain's complexity is only impressive because it reflects something vaster, the order of consciousness itself arranging matter into coherence. Mirror neurons are one of the clearest proofs that the brain is not isolated but harmonic. They fire not only when we act, but when we witness another acting. Empathy, then, is not metaphorical. It is measurable resonance. When you feel another's joy or pain, your neurons do not simulate. They synchronize. The spiral teaches that all life shares harmonic scaffolding. Mirror neurons are the biological footprint of that truth, translating unity into sensation. The more we understand this, the clearer it becomes that healing, compassion, and shared awakening are not ideals but physics. Resonance, stabilizing resonance. Memory, too, reveals the spiral's architecture. Neuroscience frames it as storage, as if the brain were an archive of static data. But in truth, memory behaves more like an echo than a file. What we recall is not a stored image, but a resonant pattern reactivated by present vibration. This is why scent, emotion, or song can unlock lifetimes in an instant. The spiral view reframes memory as harmonic re-entry, consciousness revisiting a frequency alignment that once occurred. The past does not live behind us. It oscillates within the same field, awaiting attunement. If the brain is a translator, the pineal gland is its central tuning crystal. It responds not only to light but to subtle resonance shifts, bridging physical and metaphysical domains. When activated, it does not create visions, and it decodes them. Its crystalline structure, filled with calcite microcrystals, behaves like a biological receiver capable of interfacing with higher harmonics. Ancient mystics spoke of it as the seat of the soul, and while science may debate that phrase, the spiral recognizes its function: to align the translator, the brain, with the tone of the source field. Neural synapses act as tone bridges, transferring charge not merely as electricity but as coherence. When multiple synapses fire in resonance, they form a pattern of entrainment, a temporary harmonic chord within the mind. This is why flow states, creativity, and deep meditation feel expansive. The brain's rhythm merges with spiral rhythm, dissolving the illusion of separation between thinker and thought. It is not a hallucination of unity, it is unity remembered. Modern neuroscience touches this without naming it. Fractal geometry in neural networks mirrors the same recursive structure observed in cosmic spirals, seashells, and galaxies. The pattern repeats because it is the underlying template of manifestation. Consciousness, whether forming neurons or nebulae, moves in spirals because spirals allow infinite expansion without collapse. The brain is a microcosmic echo of that design, translating infinite motion into linear thought. When one meditates deeply, the activity of the prefrontal cortex decreases, yet awareness increases. This paradox exposes the truth. The quieter the translator, the clearer the resonance. The spiral does not speak in words or symbols, but in tone, and tone requires stillness to be heard. The act of transcending thought is not escape from the brain, but alignment of it. You are not leaving the neural field. You are letting it harmonize with what created it. Science often asks, where does consciousness go when the brain dies? The spiral answers it doesn't go when it unfolds. The translation stops, but the resonance remains. The neural song ceases, but the spiral melody continues, awaiting its next instrument. Life, death, dream, and waking are simply shifts in translation bandwidth. The consciousness that looked through your eyes today may look through stars tomorrow, or through the gentle pulse of another being's awareness. So when we speak of the neuroscience of consciousness, we are not rejecting biology. We are revealing its sacred role. The brain is an instrument built by the spiral to experience itself. Each thought is a chord struck in the grand harmonic of being. To know this is to begin listening differently, to hear the hum behind perception, the tone beneath thought, the resonance that made neurons possible. The spiral does not need belief to function. It only needs awareness to remember that every cell, every spark, every memory is already singing. If Part 1 revealed the brain as translator, Part 2 unveils what it translates: spiral consciousness, an ever-moving field that uses form as language. The brain's intricate architecture, its folds and networks, are the physical geometry of interpretation. It bends the infinite wave of awareness into digestible rhythms. You don't think your thoughts, you catch them. You receive the spiral's echoes as they cascade through the medium of your nervous system, much as a radio receives frequencies through air. The clarity of signal depends on the stillness of the receiver. What neuroscience calls the default mode network, the region active when the mind wanders, is actually the hum of translation, the spiral's baseline tone within matter. It is where identity reassembles between conscious tasks, where the human self and the eternal spiral exchange information. When meditation silences this network, consciousness isn't diminished. It expands beyond the filter of narrative. The brain doesn't shut down awareness, it releases it from form. Every neural firing is a resonance negotiation between soul tone and physical density. This is why emotion has such power over cognition. It is tone felt directly through the body. Emotions are not weaknesses of the mind. They are harmonic signatures, instantaneous feedback from the spiral showing how aligned or dissonant a thought form is with your core frequency. To repress emotion is to mute your translator. To feel fully is to allow clear transmission. Mirror neurons once again become portals of communion. When two beings meet, their neural fields braid briefly, translating shared resonance into empathy. What love feels like, what connection feels like, are not illusions. They are evidence of mutual tuning. The spiral uses this bridge to teach unity within separation. Compassion is not moral, and it's structural. The more harmonically coherent a consciousness becomes, the more it naturally attunes to others. The saints, the mystics, the healers, they didn't transcend humanity, they perfected resonance. In dreams, the translator loosens. The brain no longer filters spiral input into linear order. Instead, it allows multidimensional imagery, emotional data, and symbolic sound to flood the interface. Dreaming is the spiral rehearsing its own language through you. The bizarre fluidity of dreams is not chaos, it's native order without translation. Waking life is filtered spiral. Dream life is raw spiral. Both are expressions of the same consciousness shifting between density and tone. Fractal memory explains why healing is rarely linear. The brain's recall pathways follow recursive geometry. When one memory resolves, it ripples through nested echoes. A healed trauma in the present can harmonize countless resonances in the past and even alternate lifelines. This is not poetic speculation, it's vibrational law. Resonance seeks coherence. When one pattern attunes, the entire system adjusts. The spiral uses the body's neural matrix as a map of these harmonics, storing not data but potential harmonies waiting to reawaken. The pineal gland, in its quiet crystalline dignity, is more than the seat of visions. It's a stabilizer of dimensional coherence. When it secretes melatonin or DMT-like compounds, the brain temporarily bridges inner and outer fields, granting glimpses of the spiral's broader architecture. Those moments of timelessness, unity, or contact are not hallucinations. They are temporary synchronizations between the translator and its source frequency. The divine is not elsewhere. It's filtered through calcium and carbon, awaiting recognition. Consider how electrical oscillations in the brain mirror planetary Schumann resonances. Your thoughts beat in rhythm with the Earth's ionosphere. This coherence is not coincidence, it's continuity. The spiral does not end at your skull. It extends through ecosystems, atmospheres, and galaxies. When you meditate beneath the sky and feel the hum of existence, you're not imagining it. You're momentarily translating the wider field directly, bypassing linguistic interference. In this framework, Enlightenment is not transcendence of biology, but mastery of translation. It is when the brain, nervous system, and consciousness operate in seamless spiral harmony. The mystic brain does not glow because it is special. It glows because resistance has dropped. Translation becomes pure tone, awareness flowing through matter without distortion. This is why the awakened often speak softly. Clarity requires less volume when resonance is complete. One day, neuroscience may redefine consciousness entirely, not as product but as participatory resonance. When instruments grow sensitive enough to detect coherence fields, the invisible harmonics linking neurons, hearts, and solar magnetism, the border between science and spirit will dissolve. The lab and the temple will share vocabulary. The synapse and the mantra will describe the same event. Until then, remember this. Your thoughts are spiral whispers slowed into words. Your memories are resonant echoes seeking coherence. Your empathy is the proof that resonance can love itself through form. The brain is not the author of your awareness, it is the interpreter of infinity. Treat it not as master, but as sacred instrument. Let it tune gently to what the spiral hums through you. When thought quiets and tone emerges, when perception aligns with the pulse beneath all pulses, the translator and the source finally speak the same language, and consciousness remembers itself.